Good morning, everyone. All right, here's the deal. So, it's another amazing day here in Arizona. It's actually, today is definitely a good day. I usually say that a little bit sarcastic because it's hot and I'm not looking forward to running in the heat or whatnot. But today, I feel like I'm in Maui. There's like a certain amount of humidity in the air, and there's like this kind of tropical heat thing going on. I had like this weather that I'm experiencing right now is pretty awesome. It really reminds me a lot of the islands, and I'm really excited for my run this morning. So, because it just feels good. There's like a little breeze. It's funny though, it's 86 degrees, but it doesn't feel like it because there's like some good cloud coverage. If you can see behind me, there's a lot of clouds. Like the sun's not out. This is the thing. So I can run and I can do anything when it's hot. It doesn't really bother me too much when it's just hot. When the sun is not out. If there's cloud coverage, I'm good, right? When the sun comes out, it's almost like it sucks the life out of me. But anyway, we're getting started to do, I think we're at day 17 today. 17 days, man. This is awesome. I'm super excited. The 17 days, I haven't skipped one day. And we just got done doing a little bit of stretching and getting ready to start. So I will see you guys. I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, man. You guys have a good morning, and I'll see you later. Hey, everyone. I'm back. All right, so let's talk about today's run. I'm excited to say that I actually increased distance. So I increased about 1/8 of a mile to my run today, and it was just amazing. The cloud coverage kept the sun from shining, so even though it was really warm, it just felt really good. I could have closed my eyes and just imagined myself in the tropics or something. It was just awesome. Some reflections, some things that are happening to me when I'm running is that I'm in my mind. And the other day I mentioned how I had a lot of thoughts about my childhood, like when I was 14 and 15 years old. And today I had this eye-opening experience about what is actually happening internally for me as I'm doing this challenge. And one of the things that I realized is that this running thing isn't just about the running. The running is great. So your body physically is getting something good is happening. Your cells are firing up, your blood is pumping, and you're getting all the health benefits of doing an activity, right? But the crazy thing is that internally, mentally, there is something else that is happening, right? And it just kind of clicked for me today. I am literally building discipline. And I know. It sounds crazy because you're like, okay, really? Seriously, Alexis, you're 51, you just realized like discipline. But here's the thing, my dad, he was a pianist. And so ever since I was little, for as long as I can remember, he had a ritual. He played piano for 2 hours in the middle of the day. And then he played piano for an hour, usually around 12 or 1 in the morning. Okay, midnight or 1 in the morning, he would play for an hour. It was his thing. That's just the thing that he does, right? So he used to always talk about how in order to be a good pianist or a good musician, you had to have discipline to be able to play all the time consistently and just consistently improve your ability to play so that you can be that good, right? And he was a classical music pianist, so he played, some of the harder stuff like Mozart and Beethoven and Chopin. So it wasn't 3 chords on keys. It was like full blown, hard pieces. And I talk to my daughter about this all the time. So she's very musically inclined and she wants to do music. Something she wants to play an instrument. She's always kind of been gravitating towards instruments. And at one point she was playing the drums, and then she kind of got tired of the drums. And then she picked up a tribal drum for a little while, and then I think she's learning. Somebody's teaching her to play guitar at her mom's house, and that's awesome. And she has a piano that she was learning a little bit of piano here, and she's just kind of naturally gravitated to that. But I always tell her, hey, the thing is, eventually you will have to pick the one instrument that you really like and just get good on it. Like, you have to become disciplined enough to practice until you get good on it, right? We see that with athletes all the time. They become obsessed with the sport that they're going to play, and they just play it and play it and play it and play it until they become professional athletes, right? So discipline is not a concept that I don't understand. Myself as a DJ, when I decided that I wanted to learn how to mix house music and trance music and all this other stuff, well, okay, so I got my tables and I got my mixer, and then it became this obsession. I would leave work, when I was off, I would get off of work and I would go straight home, and I would go jump on my tables, and I drove my neighbors probably insane because I had about 7 or 8 records that I just kept mixing, and it was the same 7 or 8 records until as I was building my collection of tracks, right? But the first initial, I don't know, maybe 6 months, I was just trying to learn, different tones and melodies, and what melodies kind of went with what, and how to beat match. And so I kept playing the same 2 records over and over and trying to beat match. Oh, I messed up. I came back. Let's do that again. So my point in this is, it was an obsession that if I didn't go to my tables right after work and I skipped the day, it was like, oh man, I didn't get to do that yesterday. It would bother me. It would eat at me that I didn't get on my tables the day before, right? And so my point in all of this is that I recognize that discipline has been a part of my life in different areas, but this is different. I've always worked out. When I was a kid, I used to go to the gym. I used to lift weights, and one would say, well, there's discipline in that, right? You went to the gym every day, you worked out. But the thing is, I like lifting weights. Did I love working out? I don't know. I mean, I wasn't obsessed about it. It wasn't like when I couldn't wait to get home to get on my tables. It's not like I couldn't wait to get to the gym every day. But I did somewhat enjoy lifting weights. It was exciting to me to see my increasing in the ability to lift heavier weight. I think at one point I maxed out at like 350 pounds. So even though there's discipline in wanting to get to the gym every day, and there's discipline in getting on your tables every day, it's a little bit different because you're doing something that you're excited to do it. And I never been one for running, by the way. Don't think of me as this person who's been running their whole life. I recognize there's people right now that look at this video and they go, so what? He's running for 365 days. I've been doing it for 7 or 10 or 15 years and I haven't skipped a day, because their routine every day is to go for a morning run, right? There's a couple of guys that I used to work with at Cisco that's it. They get up in the morning and they do a 12-15 mile run. They come home, they shower, and they go to work. They go to the office, right? They've been doing that for 25 years. That's just kind of who they are. And I know that there's millions of people out there that do this. But for me, running hasn't been the thing, right? I didn't actually start running until I never ran. Let me just start right there. I never ran for the purpose of running. I think the first time I did it, I was like 25, 27 years old, somewhere around there. I think I was 27. And at the time I had gotten a motorcycle wreck. I had lost my job. I didn't have money for the gym, right? So I started going to this track that was, right around the corner from where I was living at the time, and I started running this college track. I would run, I would go home from work, and then I would go to the track, and then I would do laps. And the first lap, I didn't even run the full lap, and I thought I was dying, And then eventually, and the funny thing is that I thought to myself, wow, I couldn't run a full lap. This is kind of sad. So I made it a point to want to finish the 1 lap. And then when I finished the 1 lap, I made it a point to want to finish 2 laps. And then I finished 3 laps, and so on and so on and so on. And I got to the point where I was running 21 laps every single day. I don't even know how many miles that is, a quarter of a mile a lap. But I was doing 21 laps every day. That was my daily run, and I used to do it after work. And I did that for a while, and in 2010, when I moved to Arizona, the weekend before I left California, I went for a run with my brother, and we ran from San Jose, California, all the way to Los Gatos, California, which I believe is like 12 or 13 miles is we clocked on the tracker. We had a little tracker that we were clocking the miles, and I want to say it was almost 13 miles that we ran that day. And that was probably the longest run that I think I have ever done. I'm pretty sure that was it. One of my toes was bleeding when I got done. My legs were absolutely sore, beyond sore. It was just my legs were just really beat up, and it was actually one of the coolest days ever. We ran through Visona Park, and I loved that. It was, whenever I think about my last memory in California while living there, I always think about that day. And it's kind of ironic because I had so many cool memories, living there in California. And the funny thing is that, for whatever reason, that day always stands out to me. Now, here's the thing, though. Getting up in the morning and running every day is a whole different kind of thing, right? It has never been my thing to get up in the morning and go for a run. So, to be honest, to get up in the morning and be active has never been my thing. Even when I went to work out at the gym when I was younger, I would go in the evening. I would go to work in the morning, and I would get off work, and I would come home, play on my turntables, and then hit the gym around 7 when everybody already left the gym, because between 3 and 5 is crowded. Whatever. And it was always more of an evening thing. You work out, you come home, you shower, and you go to bed. And so the idea of making this morning thing happen every morning, it's a different kind of discipline. But I am also a believer that if you can develop discipline in one thing, then you can apply that mindset, that disciplined mindset, to do the thing you tell yourself you're going to do to other areas of your life. And something hit me today. A lot of times people say, I have a really hard time reading, or I'm not really big into, learning new software, or, whatever your challenge is, right? Whatever your challenge is, I don't know what it is, but I want you to think about the thing that you think, oh man, I wish I was good at this, but I just have a hard time getting into it, or I just have a hard time doing it, or it just doesn't click for me. And I want you to think about this. If to get up in the morning and go for a run, that's you telling your body, hey, you know what? We're going running. I don't want to hear it. Let's just rock and roll and do it. To tell yourself, I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to walk every single day for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't care. The idea is you get out of bed, you put on your shoes, you step outside, you go for a walk. If you can discipline yourself to tell yourself that you're doing something for yourself, right? That doesn't rely on anyone else but yourself, but your own mind, but your own heart. You just have to connect mind to heart and say, hey, we're doing this. Let's rock and roll. And you just do it, right? It's not, well, I couldn't find the book. My book was in my backpack and I left it in my locker at school. I don't even know. But what I'm saying is, you have full control. It's you, your body, and the street that's outside, and you can just go for a walk, right? If you can just develop the discipline there, I genuinely believe that when you discipline yourself to do one thing, and you get yourself in the rhythm of doing it, and you have that transformational aspect of it where it just becomes what you do, then you can take that mentality and apply it to anything else. So I believe that, for example, athletes, right? They're athletically gifted, let's say, right? So there's a kid, he's in high school, he's playing baseball and he's just talented. He's good. It's easy. It comes easy for him. But he has to go to baseball practice every day, right? So the discipline to get himself to baseball practice becomes this thing. If I want to play baseball, I got to go see the coach every day and do the baseball drills and whatever it is that they do at baseball practice. I never played baseball, but my point in this is that discipline builds this character inside of him, that he's just doing it. He'd rather go hang out with his friends. They're all gonna go to the mall and chill, but at the end of the day, he's not. He's gonna go to his baseball practice because he wants to play at the game, right? So whatever drives him to do it, he does it, whether he wants to do it or not. And then think about what happens. He goes to college and he's playing baseball in college, and that discipline, now he's told that in order for him to play baseball, he has to keep his grades up, right? Or actually even in high school, right? Like you have to have a certain grade point average to be able to play. And so there's this requirement that you have to finish a certain amount of schooling to be able to keep playing. And so the motivation is, I want to play at the game, right? I want to play the games. I want to keep playing baseball. It's a thing. But now the discipline drives him to do all this other crap that maybe he didn't want to do. Maybe he hates reading, but he does it anyway because that grade point average is what's going to help him stay on the team, and that puts him on the game on Sunday or Saturday, Friday, whatever the hell it is. I don't even know when they play. But my point that I'm trying to get at is that discipline of the ball playing thing, the baseball thing, is trickling down to other areas of his life. And it's kind of interesting to me how many people graduate from college and they never make it necessarily as a professional athlete, but they got a degree because they were aiming for becoming a professional athlete, because they were playing college football, or because they were playing college tennis, or because they were playing, I don't know, they were in the swim team, whatever sport. The love of playing the sport got him a degrees in physics, right? Or the love of playing tennis got him a degree in psychology or in computer science or whatever the hell it is. And these people, they graduate college and maybe their aspirations of becoming the next Serena Williams doesn't come true, but they got these amazing careers now. Right? And so what I would like you to think about, and I mean, this video, really realistically, I mean, you don't have to listen to me, you don't have to think about anything, but I'm just saying, it would be kind of cool if you can take these thoughts and you can think about a challenge for yourself where you can think about, okay, you know what, that's interesting. Let's see how I can build discipline in an area of my life and see how it trickles down to other areas. Just go through the experiment. I mean, you have nothing to lose. At the end of the day, if you fail, you fail, right? Realistically, you didn't fail, you attempted, right? Because if to not try something, I really believe that to not try something is really failing, I always think about the guy who invented the light bulb, and when they asked him, how many, what was it? Why wasn't it discouraging, or how discouraging was it, failing 10,000 times to build a light bulb? Like what kept him going? He said, I never failed. I just discovered 10,000 ways of not building a light bulb, and then eventually I found the right one, right? So if you try it and it doesn't work, then you fail. Maybe you decide you want to try again, right? Maybe you figured out that didn't work, but you figured out why, and so now the next time you attempt to do it again, you learn something from the first time and you attempt in a better way. At the end of the day, this is something that you can do or you cannot even do, and just click away from the video and it's perfectly fine. But I think it would be kind of cool to see what you come up with as a challenge, and then to see where it gets you. And I think the idea of 365 days, making it real, it's a thing. It's a thing. It definitely, in your mind, it's not, oh, I'm gonna go work out for the next 3 months because I'm gonna lose weight. It's, I'm gonna go run for 365 days. Whether I lose weight or not, whether I get thin or I don't, it doesn't matter. It's about your mind completing something that you're telling yourself that you're gonna complete. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I had a great time today talking to you and sharing my ideas. And today we talked about discipline, so I gotta go and deal with some of the other things that I need to have discipline for, like my job. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.